fortunate that early stage startups actually do not do specific brand building. They're not supposed to do, because what an early stage startup really concentrates on is actually having the product, the technology, and the structure right. But it's important that they need to set the tone of the brand right, which means it's important to position the product or the technology or whatever that you're doing, your startup, right the first day, and that precisely is brand building. So I think if there is any specific mantra, then the mantra is that believe in the position, identify the gap in the marketplace, position your product, your technology, your startup, and yourself in that gap, and sell yourself to the marketplace as absolutely bang on and right for that gap. That's when you start right, because positioning is the first step to promoting yourself, and brand building is positioning, promotion, and then comes the third level where we actually start building the brand. For an entrepreneur or for a startup, an influencer is anybody, just about anybody, who's going to talk about him. Now it's important that a startup or a founder identifies these influencers. Now within the family, when you start to be an entrepreneur, your family, your father, your parents, your children, your spouse can be the first influencers. When you look out for consumers, customers of your products, anybody who is aligned to the customer can be your influencer. And along the sales process, anybody who touches this entire process is an influencer. So it's important for anybody or every entrepreneur to identify these influencers along the way. So for example, if you have an edutech product, right? In an edutech product, it is important that you understand that your consumers are finally going to be students, but influencers are going to be teachers. Influencers are going to be principals. Influencers are going to be policy makers. And one of the biggest influencers in all of this entire startup space today is the government. And thankfully, this is one influencer which is on the side of the startup. So we can be rest assured that the policies, the Startup India, Stand Up India program, and the implementation of the program, and the intent of the government to actually do something for this ecosystem is right there. All we need to do is to actually participate and ensure that it gets implemented and executed in the manner that we've dreamt it to be. I think it's only companies like Let's Venture which can help first. Now, why I say this is because a policy is never a one man's journey. It can never be a one man written policy. It needs to be crowdsourced. It needs to have a platform. It needs to have all the people together picking their brains on what will work. How can we strengthen this ecosystem, and how different stakeholders come from different directions, because finally it's a community that we are creating, it's an environment that we are creating, and it's a country of entrepreneurs that we are going to create. Alone in the state of Maharashtra, because I represent Maharashtra, alone in the state of Maharashtra, nearly 10 lakh children turn to the age of 18 every single year. Now please understand, it's very difficult to generate jobs for all these 18 lakh of people, right? Now that's where entrepreneurship plays a very, very crucial role, because when you transform from being a job seeker to a job provider, you take that leap, and this leap of faith the entire community needs to take, and that's why platforms like Let's Venture play a very crucial role, because you probably get together loads of stakeholders already. What we need to do is probably reach out to you, or you need to reach out to us, so that we can sit together, get all the stakeholders together and create a sustainable policy which is going to last years. One thing that I'm really interested in seeing is agri-tech. So I know of this this little boy who comes from a very backward small little place, who has built a soil testing machine. The original soil testing machine which we have imported costs about 10 lakh rupees, but this small soil testing machine costs just about 1 lakh rupees. Now it's important that technology seeps through in agriculture in ways and means that you would hardly know, and especially the urban crowd, the children who are studying in urban culture, who have forgotten their rural roots, need to get back and realize that that is where the next call is. Agri-tech is going to be the future, and that is what is going to drive the next set of entrepreneurs.
Awesome. That's like re-energizing our roots, right? Thank you. That's perfect.
Thank you so much.